Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Connect Africa. So this is a continuation of what we have did like an hour or 2 hours ago with regard to exposing General Michael Langley and Africom and the militaries that the U.S. Trained and how they're how they're doing coup d'etat, and when they want, they pressure them, and then when it is a coup that is plotted by the army and training those African militaries to go and commit the coup d'etat, then you don't hear no pressure. But in any case, this is an expose that has been done by one congressman, the U.S. congressman from Florida, Gaetz. He was confronting basically the U.S. military secretary, also asking about Africom and what it's doing in Africa, and as well, General Michael Langley. Previously, in our first video, we did his comment, particularly on Guinea's President Mamadi Doumbouya, how he was trained by the US, and then later on he did this coup d'etat against at that time was the president Alpha Conde of Guinea. That was in September 2021. This particular confrontation was he was asking the US Army Secretary regarding the coup d'etat that has been, that was in Niger. This video is actually a year ago. It was exactly on April 16, 2024. Let's have a listen, or let's watch it together, and then we'll come back to it.
I thank the gentleman. Chair, and I recognize the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Gaetz.
Secretary Wilmoth, there's train and equip money requested in this budget, right?
Certainly, Congressman.
And the train and equip mission in Niger is owned by the Army, right?
Yes, we certainly provide soldiers for that, yes.
General, do you know what is going on in Niger right now?
I know there's some challenges over there in Niger right now, and I don't think that we are actually in charge of that mission that's on the ground.
Well, yeah, we just heard the secretary say you've got soldiers there, so we're gonna dive into that to some extent. Do you know what the status is of diplomatic overflights to our installation?
Just one information to you, that at this time, when this discussion happened in the Senate in April 2024, I think was the U.S. Army still there. I don't think they left fully. They didn't leave. The army was still in Niger, and at that time it was the largest drone base of U.S. Army in Africa. That was in Niger.
Relations in Niger?
Yeah, I'm vaguely tracking that that's a challenge over there.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not a challenge. It's binary. Are we allowed right now to do diplomatic overflights in Niger? Yes or no?
I don't know exactly. I'm not tracking it that close.
Do you know if we're allowed to do those diplomatic overflights?
I don't, but I'm sure the Africom commander does.
Yeah, but you guys just said it's in the budget you're asking for to do these train and equip missions. One of them is in Niger. In Niger right now, the government has stopped us from doing diplomatic overflight missions. So we have Army soldiers right now in Niger who aren't getting their troop rotations, who aren't getting their medicine, who aren't getting their supplies, who aren't getting their mail, and the two senior people in the United States Army are sitting before me, and it's like, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. Are you going to do anything for the soldiers that are in Niger right now who can't get medicine? Yes or no?
Congressman, certainly. We can talk to General Langley and make sure that...
Oh, I've talked to General Langley. He comes in here and never has really good answers. I mean, I asked him for information about how many of the coup leaders we had trained, including in Niger and Ghana and Mali and the Ivory Coast, and he didn't even produce his report on time. So pardon me for a lack of confidence in General Langley. What I'm telling the two of you is that you have a responsibility for these soldiers in Niger. And General, you would agree with me with the premise that we should never sacrifice the well-being of our service members to avoid political embarrassment, right?
Congressman, I will tell you, I'm not tracking that somebody in Niger is not getting their medicine or their mail, but I will follow up.
You don't even know the status
after
of
this.
diplomatic overflights. How about the great power competition? You would agree on train and equip missions. We would never want Russian soldiers at the U.S. installation where we're doing train and equip, right? That's not even a tough question. You would agree.
Yes.
And so if there were Russian soldiers behind the wire at Airbase 101 in Niger, where we have soldiers doing the train and equip mission, that would concern you, wouldn't it? Right. Well, I'm here to tell you, we've received reports that they run out of medicine in May, that they cannot get their troop rotations. And you know why you don't know that? Because it's a cover-up. Because the U.S. Embassy in Niger is covering it up because of Secretary Blinken's embarrassment. Because Blinken went there in March of 2023 and said this was the centerpiece of our Africa strategy. This was the model of resilience. And then, lo and behold, the very coup leader we trained takes over the country. And then we struggle with whether or not to call it a coup. We've now called it a coup. Since we've called it a coup, now they won't let us get folks in and out. And so I'm looking at what could erupt as another Benghazi, where there is no mission to do. There is no train and equip right now with the coup leaders. So we got a bunch of people sitting around without their supplies, without their medicine. And the whole reason intelligence isn't getting to us is because the embassy is blocking it because Blinken is humiliated that this failed. And I've used my 5 minutes on everything in the Army right now because I have constituents who are there in Niger and they're wondering how to get water. Did you know they can't even get clean water? Did you know that the partner nations that we have at that base with our soldiers, the partner nations, the Italians and the Germans, they've stopped cooperating with us. They won't even help us get provisions to our troops because of the status of forces agreement that we have with the government being deemed invalid. I am just a country lawyer from North Florida, but this strikes me as something the two of you should know about. I get the blank stares, but Secretary Wormuth, can I take as your commitment that you are going to leave here and you're going to see to the well-being of these folks in Niger and that they can get the rotations and the medicine they need?
Certainly, I will make sure they're getting the medicine and the water that they need. Yes, Congressman.
Great. Mr. Chairman, I have a number of unanimous consent requests. First, an article from Politico. It's like a bad movie. U.S. officials who helped train Nigerian troops reel from coup.
Without objection, so ordered.
Russian troops arrive in Niger as military agreement begins, and from the BBC.
Without objection, so ordered.
Uranium, Niger termination of U.S. military ties followed accusation of uranium deal, March 17th, 2024, from the Wall Street Journal.
Without objection, so ordered. Gentleman's time's expired. Chair, not recognize the gentleman from California, Mr. Carbajal.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you both Secretary Wormuth and General George for being here today. Hearing some experts on.
This is what I love. Michelle.
Sorry about that. So that was it. Just to give you a bit of a background, the U.S. military from Niger left now Niger as, by the request of the Nigerian government. And they don't have that base anymore. Now the Russian military is also there. In fact, that the Russian military went and, took a camp just next to the U.S. military. So they were doing the exiting of Niger phase by phase, but finally there were around 1,100 U.S. military. Finally, it has left. So this man, it's Matt Gaetz. He's a Republican. He's now no more now as a government official, but his background is a lawyer. I'm not saying that I'm in line with all what he's saying. Basically, the U.S. Army is there to guard their own interests. That's why the French army is there. That's why the European Union army is there. That's why the Canadians are there. Everyone brings their military only to guard their own interests when they have business investments. That's it. That is the only reason they are there. Now, to comment on this in general, I have asked this question to comment on this Kwame Gonza, our own Kwame Gonza, and here is what he has to say. in a second. I will let you, to listen to this. Mhm. Mm. Mm. I am reading in the question session that in the chat section you are not hearing what I am hearing. Is that right? If so, I hear a comment from, I read a comment from Common Man that there's no sound. I thought the sound you're hearing what I am hearing. Otherwise, I am really wasting your time. That's what it means, because I thought you all are listening. It has been like 8 minutes. Yes means so. Yes means you don't hear nothing. Oh, King Hannibal says I'm waiting. No, I'm not waiting. Actually, I am listening because it's an audio from him, and I just wanted to, because I didn't say anything. I thought everything is good. Okay, in that case, I think there's some problem with the audio. We leave it as that. I try to do something else to share, Kwame's view with you guys. So that was it for now. Thank you very much, and I'm sorry for that technical problem.